So I have to start somewhere. I have to start somewhere. I've been trying to record a video for the most part of the last couple of hours. And I'm just having a difficult time. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to share with you some things that I've been enjoying or trying to enjoy. No, I take that back. I have been enjoying them with the time that I have. And I'm going to share 4 books, 2 of which I've already talked about, 2 which are brand new, and 2 decks that I've been getting to know. One I'm getting to know, I've owned it in the past, and I'm getting to know it really well for the first time. I had rehomed it and I replaced it. Everything I'm going to share today, and I figure, you know what, I'm going to try to break the ice, try to get back into this groove by just sharing these things, like 4 books and 2 decks. And hopefully I can push through this ennui I've been feeling. It's just, like I said, for me, summer it's not a good place. So it's not a good place for me up here. Anyway. So without further ado, I'm gonna do a little ramble. I have no idea where I'm going with all this. Hopefully you enjoy spending some time with me today. I really appreciate you watching. So let's begin. I'll start with the books. I'll start with books that I said I was going to be reading this summer. And I thought, I don't know. Actually, one of them is just one book that I said I was going to be reading this summer. It was new to me. And I decided to bring along its predecessor, or it's not its predecessor, but another book by the same author that I picked up first. So Untie the Strong Woman was a book that I said I was going to be reading this summer. I have to say, and I love Clarissa Pinkola Estés. Like, I love her. I listen to her audio recordings all the time. I think I mentioned it last time that I'm re-listening to Mother Night audio. So I thought it would be a no-brainer to pick up this book, which I got this in this beautiful hardback secondhand. I was happy I got my hands on it because it seems to be harder to find. It could just be geographically where I am. So I don't know, maybe it's like still widely available everywhere else, and just for me it was tough. But it was a little tough to get a hold of. This is not a book. This one is the same as this one for me. So Women Who Run with the Wolves. This is, I don't know, I think this was her first book. This is a tome. Okay? This one too, it's a bit of a tome. Let me show you. There we go. Both what these 2 books have in common, aside from the fact that I absolutely adore the author, and I just adore anything Clarissa Pinkola Estés does. I don't love everything. Let me explain. I cannot read either of these books cover to cover. This has never been a book. I have never read this book all the way through. I probably have read the whole book, but I have not read it in order. I have not started at the front and then ended at the back. It is a kind of book that I pick up, I open at a random spot, and very much like bibliomancy, I will end up reading where I opened up randomly, and it'll nourish my soul. It'll mean something. It'll be timely. It'll be educational. It'll be spiritual and all that jazz. I have to say, this is still my favorite of the 2. Okay, which is interesting, because this one, Untie the Strong Woman, is Blessed Mother's Immaculate Love for the Wild Soul, is a wonderful book. The Women Who Run with the Wolves, though, is my favorite of the 2. This one, the same thing. I gotta tell you, I tried reading it, chapter one, and chapter one, and starting with that, or first words, opening blessing, and all this stuff. And I gotta tell you, reading this one from front to back just doesn't do it for me either. And I almost put it away and gave up on it because it was a slog. I just wasn't in the headspace, and maybe I wasn't in the mood for it, or I don't know how to describe it. I just couldn't. And then about a week and a half ago, I just opened it up on a random spot. And I just opened it up on the same spot. Page 152. Right here. Look at this. It's all blank space. And in that moment, it was those blank pages that spoke to me, because that's how I'm feeling. I don't know if I've shared before, but I go blind a little bit leading up to my birthday. It's like summer months for me, I go a little blind. Like, I'm still able to read for other people. I'm able to, provide insight for other people. But my own personal vision, my spirits go silent. It's almost like being underground. My spirits go silent. My guidance goes silent, usually for about a good 45 days. 40 days at least leading up to my birthday. And this was I looked at this and I said, oh my gosh, that's exactly how I'm feeling. And then the words here: holy woman who is unafraid of any dark. May all be given the ways of seeing that most benefit the growth of, rather than the restriction of, their souls. And that's when I discovered that this, very much like Women Who Run with the Wolves, is not a book that I read cover to cover. It's one that I open and it speaks to me. I open and I end up landing exactly where I need to land, to read exactly what I need at that time. So there's my review of this one, Untie the Strong Woman. If you love Women Who Run with the Wolves, it is not the same book. So it's not Women Who Run with the Wolves 2. It's a completely different focus, but it feeds the soul the same way. Especially if you're a devotee of La Madonna, if you're, if that's your jam. When I'm feeling the way I'm feeling for myself, I need a deck with training wheels. So this is a time of year where even Oracle decks are not. I'm drawn to Oracle decks in terms of encouragement and support, and the Oracle decks I typically work with are all animal, nature-based. Because since culling my collection, the vast majority of what I own now is animal or nature-based, and with the exception of some traditional tarot decks. So of course my working deck is the Rider-Waite. My Centennial is my deck of choice to read for other people. My Thoth deck is still 100% my tarot deck choice, my first choice to read for myself, also for other people and for situations. But when I'm feeling lost is not the right word. I know where I am, but I'm in the dark. This is when I'm drawn to what I call tarot decks with training wheels. And I had this deck and I rehomed it in the Great Cull of 2020, 2021. And I ended up repurchasing it. And it's this one. Uh, Fairy Tarot cards. But this one now it's only credited to Radley Valentine. We all know historically this is a Doreen Virtue Radley Valentine collaboration. I'll show you what it looks like. So the one that is just Radley Valentine, like attributed just to Radley Valentine, still comes with the big chunky guidebook. The guidebook, I'm trying to remember what, oh gosh, like it popped in my head and I said, oh, I need to share this. The energy of the guidebook, I don't remember what the original one sounded like. I don't remember it at all because I didn't use this deck much when I had the first copy. And the first one had beautiful silver gilding, and this one has no gilding, but you know, I also discovered that this one's a lot easier to riffle shuffle because it doesn't have gilding, so I'm all right with that. Okay, I missed my original one a little bit, but you know, it's okay. I'm trying to remember who, like, when I read this and I thought, oh my gosh, this sounds like, and now it's gone because I can't remember, because that was a thought I had late at night. And this is when I actually draw a card from this deck. So I'm still doing, you know, the daily thing with my thought, the energy of the day or the week. Like for this past week, I had the energy of the week up on my altar. The card I drew on Sunday for the week, and it was Six of Wands. And that was, in fact, the energy of this past week. But in the evening or at night, just before bed, I will draw from these. What's interesting is when I had the original of this deck, I think it was a gift from a friend, which already I feel bad I gave it away. But anyway, stop. I liked it. You know, it's like I liked it, and I have to say, well, I'm looking at it instead of showing you. I liked it, and I have to say that I'm sorry if this is like terrible, but you know, my videos are like, let me see on this side if it's better. I like it. Look at this for the sun. Better than the Angel Tarot, because the Angel Tarot, for me, the art is bad. It's really bad. I'm sorry. I don't want to hurt the artist's feelings, but it's really bad. Like Doreen Virtue's head on a mermaid, I just can't, people. I just can't. So, and computer generated art already is not my favorite. But this is one of the better ones, in my opinion. Because I'm actually spending time with it, and I'm getting to know it, and I'm actually working with it, and again going into the imagery and studying the imagery. But because I'm in a place right now where I can use a little support when it comes to myself, all this writing on the card comes in handy. I have to tell you that much. So let me give you a short review of this. First of all, it shuffles so much better without the silver gilding, but you know, the silver gilding was high quality and it was beautiful. I still remember what it looked like. But I can actually shuffle this, which is making me use it daily or every night. It has, the suits have been changed to seasons instead of wands and cups and swords and pentacles. And for me, I really jive with tarot. It has to be either traditional, or if it's not traditional, it has to, if they're going to replace the suits with something, seasons. That I get. Seasons or elements. That's my limit. So the suits are seasons. There is the name of the, so there's the title of the card, Prince of Summer, romantic, captivating, dramatic, flirtatious, and then there's 3 phrases at the bottom of each card. But not this whole these 3 phrases are not a whole message. They're 3 different messages. And so when I use this deck, I find that I'll scan the words and certain words will jump out at me and speak to me, and others will just fade into the background. So this one has falling in love suddenly, being swept off your feet, the need to stay grounded during a very emotional experience. So any of those 3 phrases, sometimes part of one and part of another will help me during this time of sitting in the dark. I love this image. It does remind me of, like, a lot of the imagery from here, it reminds me of literature or movies. The Empress is a spitting image of Marilyn Monroe. Like, there's no mistaking that one. And there it is. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like, this is, I don't know if you could see it, but. So, although, what's interesting is that back in the day when I was watching TarotTube, I had seen reviews and people raved about the Angel Tarot by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine, and critiqued this one as being lesser. Instead, I feel the opposite. I find that Angel Tarot for me was a little, didn't work for me. It just rubbed me the wrong way. Again, like I said, Doreen Virtue's head, like, freaking photoshopped on a mermaid's body. I found that the art wasn't very inspiring in that deck. I learned I don't care, like, I don't care for, like, I don't even know if that's the right way of putting it. But for me, it doesn't work. Archangels, major arcana, so I do recommend this one. If, like me, you have times where you need a tarot with training wheels, it's better than the Guardian Angel Tarot. The Guardian Angel Tarot is an oracle deck, in my opinion, even though it works really well. Like, it stays within the tarot structure. But I don't, when I need a tarot deck with training wheels to support me, I don't turn to that one as a tarot deck. I turn to that one as an oracle deck. I turn to that one because for me it has the energy of certain women that were in my life that are deceased, and I feel that I'm receiving comfort from them. So this is what I've been using, and yeah, widely available, probably really inexpensive. Glad it's back. So books. I have 2 new books I want to share. And one is like hot off the press for sure. It's like pretty recent. And the other one's just like, they're both from 2021. The first one is Anatomy of a Witch, A Map to the Magical Body by Laura Tempest Zakroff. So at this stage in the game, for me, I don't go looking for books on witchcraft. Mainly because I have my practice now. I have the way I do things. And when I want to, I read subjects that are adjacent to witchcraft. So I'll be drawn more to, let's say, herbalism, or I'll be drawn more to, I'm drawn a lot to herbalism and plant magic and that kind of stuff. Folk magic, right? Just folk magic of different ethnic groups. Because I love seeing the similarities. I love the similarities, the differences, and it's my interest. It's my realm of interest. Now, I love this author. She's a gifted artist, prolific author. Truth be told, I have read quite a few of her books and enjoyed them. But this one, oh yeah, disclaimer, yeah, 20 minutes in. Everything I'm showing you today, I paid for with my own money. Nothing is sponsored. Nothing was given to me as gratis for a review. It's all purchased by me, either from used bookstore or brand new from, retail. And this is one of them. This one, of course, is brand new because the book is brand new. I have not read it yet. I have not read it cover to cover. This is another book that, because of this headspace I'm in, I'm dipping into. I read a chapter, I read a paragraph or whatever, and I'm getting so much out of it. I think this came to me at the right time. For me, it came to me at the right time because so much of what I do day in, day out professionally is up here. So much of what I've been doing on my downtime is up here. And although I preach, get back into your body. I always preach, get back into your body. If you're feeling ungrounded, you need to get back into your body, get back in touch with your body, move your body, clothe your body, care for your body. All this stuff, I'm the last person to do it. So I owe a death? Oh my God. I owe a debt of gratitude. Death, people. I'm telling you. That. Anyway. I owe a debt of gratitude that this book arrived at the time that it did, because it's just so... It's full of wisdom. Some of it is okay. When you've been practicing a long time, a lot is not new. You know what I'm saying? But there's a way of presenting and of packaging what we do in a new way, and this does it. And I love that the focus is on the physical, specifically the body, literally anatomy of a witch. And I understand she's coming out. There's an oracle deck that's coming out. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's going to be tied to this topic or not. But as you may know, if you've been watching me for a bit, her Liminal Spirits Oracle is one that I have a love-hate relationship with. And for that reason, it's really at the top of my list of the oracle decks that I use. Again, because there's things in it that I find challenging. There's artwork that I find challenging. There's messages that I find challenging. And that deck's a bit of an asshole. And that's what I love about it. So I look forward to seeing her next oracle deck. And I have to say, I look forward to working more with this book. Again, like I said, very much because of the headspace that I'm in, I am just opening it up in random spots and reading from it, and I'm getting so much out of it. Anatomy of a Witch, a map to the magical body, Laura Tempest Zakroff. And the last book of the books I want to share today. I had to seek this one out. Okay? I read about it online and I said, oh my gosh, I need a copy. And I couldn't get one. I suspect because it's selling out, which is awesome, right? Selling out in terms of people are buying it a lot, not selling out as a he's selling out to the man kind of thing. But This is great. If you practice folk magic, you need this on your shelf. You need to be, if you practice folk magic, you need to have this book. It is an adventure, okay? And this too is a book that I'm not reading cover to cover. I'm not starting at the beginning and, reading it through like a novel or whatever, because it too is, this is a resource book, a reference book. It's just beautiful. New World Witchery, a trove of North American folk magic by Corey Thomas Hutchison. First of all, let's take a moment to look at the beauty of these two books I just recently bought. And it's like, I rarely buy like newly released books. So I don't know, just the beauty of the covers are beautiful. Look at this. This is a tome. You could brain somebody with this book. And oh my gosh, folk magic hidden in plain sight is what it says in bold font on the back. Explore nearly 500 samples of stories, artifacts, rituals, and beliefs. If you love folk magic, or you're the least bit curious about folk magic, this is it. I open it in a random spot at the end of a long day or something like that, and I either am just like Anatomy of a Witch, right? They're completely different books, but when you've been practicing a long time, what you're looking for is something that will remind you of stuff you knew and forgot, teach you something new, and show you something you already do or know in a new light. I love it. So that's the books that have been keeping me company most recently. And the last thing I want to share with you is a tarot deck I just recently got. So here's what happened with the whole cull of 2020, 2021. The vast majority of the decks I rehomed were modern decks. It just turns out they were the vast majority were the popular ones. The vast majority were the ones with all the hype. Vast majority of the ones I rehomed were the ones that were the flavor of the moment, and everybody was posting an unboxing and everybody was saying it was wonderful. Most of the ones I called are those. The vast majority of the tarot decks I have left are older decks. Going, from stuff like, I have Thoth and Rider-Waite, my Morgan Greer that looks like it's been, I pulled it out of the trash because it's so worn. Some indie decks that I just adore, Tarot of the Crone, Dark Goddess. I'm trying to remember if I have any, Pagan Otherworlds. You know what I mean? Like, but always within that realm. And so most of my collection, because I'm going to use that word now because I'm okay with it, is to describe what I have. Most of it is quite it is quite curated, and it is heavily nature based. Nature meaning literal nature, the outdoors and the elements and all that stuff, or animals. And the other type of decks that dominate my interest are fairies, fae, earth spirits, that kind of stuff. So this is loosely in that realm. The energy of this deck, I have the energy of this deck is very fae. Like when you it's just that the imagery is, I like it because it's fae in disguise with this nice, fluffy appearance. It's like glamour. All this to get to what? To show you the deck I got. So I recently got this deck. When I was still watching all the unboxings and all that stuff, and I had seen some reviews, maybe because they were unboxing, they were first impressions, maybe because it was the flavor of the moment. I went like, whatever. Hush Tarot. These are the backs. I have to say though, I don't appreciate, I know, I blame TarotTube. Sorry folks. I blame TarotTube for the fact that cardstock has become like freaking plywood, unshufflable. It has become like velvet where the cards stick to each other. Between it being super matte with the static and all that stuff, it's like, I can't. People, the rubberized cards that are like plywood that you can't shuffle, people just stop already. Those of us who use decks and their tools and we want to shuffle them to give them a good, to get the energy flowing. These are tough, man. This is like a linoleum tile, okay? I have to shuffle like an old lady, like this. And if you're out there and you shuffle like this and you're offended what I just said, hey, I'm an old lady, I could say it. See this? This is not set. Look at my hands, people. Look at my hands. Okay? Look at this. So these are practically oracle sized. And they're like linoleum tiles. There's no shuffling these. But they're stunning. Stunning. And I'm just getting to know this deck. So I can't really give a review, but I could give you my first impression of this. First of all, what drew me to it is the colorway. Okay? So this color palette is very earthy. What also drew me to it is the ethereal, these fae-like, these humanoid fae-like creatures, because to me these are not human. Okay, they're fae-like. And the animals. And it's humans and nature intermingling. It's just incredible to me, and it totally appeals to me. The art style, the color palette, the combination of humans and animals and nature. Oh, look at this. The fact that each card is a work of art, but at the same time adheres to traditional tarot archetypes, the 78 archetypes of the tarot, but takes you into another realm. And because I'm feeling like I'm in this other world, these are my people. I don't know me. These are my people. It's the shape shifting, and here where you have this bird perched on fingers. Look at that. That's just craziness, people. Craziness. And I'm just crazy about the color palette. And the mood of the deck. The mood of this landscape. To me, it's very liminal. this tarot deck takes me to a liminal space between man and nature, where the two meet, and spirit, earth spirits, nature spirits, animal spirits. Ugh. Anyway, I'm not going to do a full flip through because one, I just showed you already, the cards are out of order. Two, there's tons of videos out there that are doing flip throughs that you could watch a flip through, a decent flip through of this deck. That's good. That's better than anything I could do at this time. But yeah, and I'm finding that because I'm needing to use Radley Valentine's Fairy Tarot, like with training wheels, at the end of the day, I also end up drawing a card from this deck just to immerse myself in this world and have it comfort me. Now, the imagery, the first thought isn't comfort for a lot of people. Okay, you look at this and, you know, it does have a bit of a creepy vibe. But it has a creepy vibe in the sense that nature is a little creepy. The creepy vibe is like when I'm making eye contact with deer on my property, my first thought isn't to go and try to pet one. My first thought is, okay, back away slowly, get back in the house, shut the door. Because I'm coming face to face with a creature, a wild creature in nature that doesn't have the same. I don't know what their motivations are. There's certainly I can't. I'm an idiot if I think I'm going to anthropomorphize an animal, and that deer is thinking, "Hey, buddy," like I'm thinking. That deer is probably thinking, "Back off, douchebag! Get the fuck back in your house," right? I have my kids out here, and stay away. So there's that. Oh, I made it almost to the end of the video without saying bad words. Anyway. That's it for me for this video. Hush Tarot. Again, I reiterate, everything I spoke about today was purchased by me with my own money. Nothing was sponsored or given as a gift, or no one gave me anything and asked me for a review. I actually do enjoy these things. There may or may not be future videos where I didn't enjoy something, because you know me, I'm the honest review. But I'm just not sure I kept anything that I don't care for. But maybe I did. So who knows? In the future. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for spending time with me today. Please, in the comments, share. Those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, share what you're doing this summer. Are you delving into books? What decks are you working with? What books are you reading? What book do you love that you've never read cover to cover, but for years have been dipping into at random spots, like I have with Women Who Run with the Wolves? Those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, where it's winter, what are you doing? I envy you in winter time. Tell me what you're up to. What decks are you drawn to? What books are you spending time with? And until the next video, I'm wishing you all many blessings and a beautiful day.